James Palmer on.
Yeah.
He joins us now.
Okay.
Congratulations to you, James, as you wear many hats as an NFL insider, but you added something new, another gig. You're now joining, I understand, Scoop City with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel. You know what this means, you know. You now become a BFF with Sean Payton.
Well, have we been invited to Sean's office? I neither confirm nor deny as a Scoop City group.
Wow.
Okay.
I do want to chime in real quick, boys, because I was listening yesterday in my car to camp and hearing all this about Mike's wife. And I just say this. You mentioned me as a national insider and a national reporter. And so over the years, I haven't spent every single day at Broncos training camp over the years, but I always pop in. And you know what I always try to do? I always try to give my son and my wife, who is a diehard Broncos fan, a day at camp. And maybe so people can see that she actually exists. And she usually spends a day at Broncos camp, each training camp. Mike, just throwing it out there.
Well, I never knew it was that important to get my wife out in public, but we are definitely going to find. I'm going to find some events, some games, maybe a ball here and there, just something to get her out in public.
I've never seen a picture. I follow him on Instagram. I follow him on X. Never a picture. Never he goes, "Hey, we're going to Mexico," and then I've never seen a Mexico picture.
It's all pictures of him,
right? Sipping margaritas on next to the pool. I've never seen it.
Hey guys, look at these beautiful feet. They're mine by the pool. That's all you see.
That's all I've seen. That's the only thing I've seen.
That's a true story, by the way. That's a true story. He sends pictures of his feet.
Yeah. So it's not good.
James.
Well, I guess he knows what kind of people follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
big buddies with Rex Ryan, Mike Evans is.
There is an audience for that.
Yeah.
There is an audience
Rex
for that.
Ryan, he's got a whole list, a litany of. Okay.
Let's focus.
Hey, James, you were out there. What'd you think? What was your biggest takeaway from the joint practice with Arizona?
Yeah, I will be full discretion. Spent a little bit, actually, the majority of my time watching the Broncos defense against the Cardinals offense. I was just praying for as many Pat Surtain versus Marvin Harrison Jr. matchups as we could get. We actually didn't see them line up against each other all that much. I do know on that field, Trey McBride is unreal. I mean, just running wide open constantly throughout the course of practice, whether it was schemed that way, whether it was a blown coverage in another instance, or just beating his man. It was really impressive. And to me, the reason I wanted to bring that up, and I'll get to the offense in a second, is covering tight ends is something that I'm interested in with this defense. With as strong as it is and as good as it is on three levels, I think, speed at linebacker, things at safety, can they cover tight ends, these guys that have become so dynamic through the course and across the NFL? That was one that kind of stood out to me. And then on the offensive side, I really thought, in the 2 minute to end the practice, when they go out there and, by the way, do special teams, and I'm like, oh man, we're not going to get we're still going another period. It was a long one, and so in the 2 minute, I'm watching Kyler Murray struggle mightily, and I'm looking over at Bo Nix just marching down the field with completion after completion. I thought the offense really had a bounce back type of performance from what we saw in Santa Clara. To me, that was huge. And the way he spread the ball around was big. And I talked to some guys on that Cardinals defense that I know pretty well, and they were more than impressed with the way Bo Nix has grown in year two.
Yeah, one of the things that I kept looking at early in team, not so much the 2 minute drill, but early in team, was a lot of second chance opportunities, which always it felt like there was a little bit of a lack of rhythm in the passing game, and most of the completions were off of second chance opportunities when Bo pulled the ball down, scrambled, and then found somebody. Any concern with that you talked to the Broncos about?
Yeah. I mean, you want to be on time sync, right? I mean, that's the nature of this league, and I do know that his mobility and his ability for the second play is something that's growing within this offense, and it's something you want to have in your back pocket. But yeah, you want to make sure that it happens right away. And honestly, as well as they played as a unit, and I think everybody is kind of talking about the performance of this offense. I mean, I had a chance to talk to Jonathan Gannon after practice for a little bit, and they think this could be a really good defense, specifically up front in their front seven. And so I think that could have maybe been a little bit of the part where, there is going to be a bit of a second play because of the way, Arizona did play decent up front. It's a good front seven, honestly. I know probably underrated in a lot of people's minds. But I think that's part of, going through these joint practices as well is, you have an opportunity to really get that second play when, they're going to let it run. And you get an opportunity to do it. But, yeah, I think you'd want it to be, in the structure of it first. But at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from a day that everybody was kind of starving for, in a sense, from this offense.
Our weekly Football Friday visit with James Palmer continues.
James, you talked about being around the defense, watching a lot of them yesterday. I know you've watched a lot of them throughout camp. High expectations for this defense. What are your expectations?
Yeah, I think so. They really could have staying healthy. I think is a big part of it, but could be the best defense in football. I like, it's interesting. Like Jaquan McMillan is the one I'm watching over and over again, and J Mac will get beat. He got beat bad a couple of times yesterday, and then he comes back with a pick, and it's like he finds a way to always keep himself in the running of a secondary that I think has the ability to be pretty versatile. I think when you throw Barron in, I've talked to BJ about this and how he can. How he has the ability to play inside and outside and how he can move some of these pieces in the secondary, which I think, like I said earlier, with the issues with McBride being versatile in the secondary against teams that have these joker tight ends that are so athletic, I think is becoming in vogue and extremely important in the league. And I think this group has the ability to do that on the back end. And the other part that I like watching, I just want to throw this out there because I thought it was, and I'm curious what your guys' take is, and both of you going through training camp, what you did with this. When I asked Zach Allen about kind of some of the stuff he's been trying and working on, and he's like, yeah, there's certain reps where you guys think we may stink, or certain reps where we really got blown off the ball or did something. I'm working on new things. I'm working on new stuff. And I'm like, is this the opportunity to kind of, go out there and try some things, up front with JFM and moving off of each other. And he was like, yeah, this is where we're working on things to make ourselves more versatile and go to another level in the front, the front of this defense. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there as well, is because as talented as this group is, they're in camp still working on some things to make them even more, effective in the way BJ wants to attack an offense.
James, I promise you, Stoke and Stink never looked at camp as a chance to work on new stuff. They were too petrified at screwing up the stuff that they already knew. So
thanks for speaking for us,
Hey,
Mike.
am
Just
I
like
wrong?
you speak for Broncos
Am I
country. We
wrong?
appreciate
Am
it.
I wrong?
Hey, James.
Am I wrong?
When you spend a lifetime dispensing justice, you don't need to work on new things. You just go out there and whip ass and take names.
Hey, real quick, James, because I want to lean on your going around to all these camps that you have over the years. Sean clearly thinks that they got so much out of yesterday's joint practice that he doesn't feel the need to play the starters tomorrow in a real game, a preseason game where there's, real live tackling. Is that the growing sentiment around the league, that you get more out of these joint practices than maybe you get out of the preseason games?
It's growing like crazy. I was talking to people with the Cardinals yesterday that I know, and they were like, we really love that we're doing one day. Today is going to be longer. This is before, practice started, because the way the league is gone, talking to them, is you get multiple weeks of joint practices. Obviously, you can get you're going and banging against another team, and at the same time it's controlled, and, hey, I want to get another opportunity of this. You may not get the 2-minute drill in the game, but you can just have a period for it, specifically, and make sure you get all this situational work against another team done. And what they're doing also, if you've noticed this, and it was, Philly and Cleveland did do a second day, but most of the camps now and most of the teams I talk to are one day's enough, because the second day starts being, skirmish after skirmish and kerfuffle after kerfuffle, words we'd never use unless we're talking about teams fighting against each other in an inter-squad scrimmage. But one day has become the deal, and doing it against multiple teams. And I think if Sean didn't play them in the first preseason game, I think this would have a little bit different feel to it. But having joint practices with two different teams within a week, I think they get a ton of work out of it. Gannon told me after practice that they got way more work out of this workout than they thought they even were going to get. So this is becoming more and more the norm across the league, and especially since they played in the first one, and he's going to play him a handful of snaps in the third one. It does make sense. And, man, it was hot, and it was long out there. So I do know they got a ton of work in.
James Palmer, congratulations on the Scoop City gig. We look forward to our visits all football season long. Have a great weekend, friend.
You guys, too. Ooh, a friend in there. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I know.
Michael.
He was like Jim Nance over here.